So let's talk about a being who wasn't born, but built. An entity literally constructed from the pieces of other legends, all to become something far, far more terrifying. This isn't the story of a person. This is the anatomy of a forged nightmare. This is the Iron Queen.
Okay, so let's just dive right in. This is really the central question of our whole explainer today. How do you even begin to take three distinct, incredibly powerful mythological figures and mash them together into a single living curse? Well, it's a process, all right? A process of dark alchemy and just brutal creation.
To really get the Iron Queen, you have to wrap your head around this one core concept. She's what's known as a singularity of magic. Now, this isn't some team-up or a friendly alliance. No way. We're talking about a complete, violent fusion, where three separate beings are literally deconstructed and then rebuilt into one single transcendent entity.
So to see how this singularity actually works, we need to look at the three legends who were sacrificed to make it. Let's break it all down by their core contributions, the specific job each one provides. You've got the heart, which is the power source, the form, that's the body, and the vehicle, which is the mind and, the way it gets around.
First up is the engine of this whole nightmare, the metaphysical battery, if you will. The heart of the Iron Queen, also called the demon heart, is none other than Mephistopheles. He provides the raw, fundamental power for the entire being.
And this is where it gets really fascinating. The power he brings to the table isn't just generic magic. We're talking about a hellfire core that's an infinite energy source. Then there's reality warping, which basically lets the Iron Queen look at the laws of physics and just say no. And his demonic nature, it twists Baba Yaga's old riddles into magically binding soul contracts, powerful enough to trap entire civilizations. He is the unlimited fuel for a cosmic inferno.
Okay, so you've got an infinite power source. Now you need a vessel that can actually handle it, right? And that's where Maleficent comes in. She provides the form, the dragon form, which acts as the aggressive, destructive body and the primary weapon of the Iron Queen. And her contribution is just brilliant, in a terrifying way. It's not just a body, it's a weapon system. She grants dragon physiology, giving the entity skin made of these super durable black scales. She provides this thing called elemental wrath, which is a destructive power literally fueled by her own bottomless spite. And, most critically, she wields the Forest of Thorns, an ability that's now amplified to the point where it can choke out entire planets. So, we have an infinite power source and an indestructible vessel. But how does it move? And more importantly, how does it think? Well, that's the final piece of the puzzle, Baba Yaga. She serves as the crone vehicle, providing the intellect, the deep arcane knowledge, and the transport for this cosmic-level threat. Right, and this is the part that makes the Iron Queen a universal threat. Baba Yaga's cosmic wisdom is basically a supernatural GPS for navigating treacherous places like the Dark Hollow. Her famous mortar gets scaled up to the size of a city, and get this, it's propelled by Maleficent's own severed wings. The pestle, it's now powerful enough to grind entire stars into dust. So, how? How were these three unbelievably powerful separate beings actually fused into one? The answer is a horrifying three-stage ritual. It's a process of self-dismantling and violent recreation known as the spinning of the void.
And yeah, this was not a gentle merger. It was a complete deconstruction. Step 1, the grind, where physical parts are literally ground down. Step 2, the weave, where hellfire itself is spun into thread to violently stitch everything back together. And finally, step 3, the ignition. Mephistopheles lights the fuse from the inside, triggering a blast that doesn't destroy them, but forges them into something brand new.
This one line from the source material, it just says it all, doesn't it? It perfectly captures the sheer horror of this ritual. It's not about cooperation or synergy in a positive sense. It's about forcing these disparate natures together through pure, brutal will. This is creation as an act of absolute violence.
The result of this whole brutal process is this final alloy of magic and malice. It's an entity that is so much more powerful, so much more terrifying than its individual parts could ever hope to be. The fusion doesn't just combine them, it creates the perfect weapon. And this is where the terrible genius of this fusion really clicks into place. Each one's weakness is completely erased by another's strength. Mephistopheles' power used to be bound by making bargains. Now, it's absolute. Maleficent's rage was kind of blind. Now, it's guided by Baba Yaga's cosmic intellect. Baba Yaga's wisdom was always formidable, but now it's fueled by an inexhaustible hellfire core. They didn't just merge, they created a flawless monster.
And out of this fusion, entirely new abilities begin to emerge, powers that none of them could have ever had on their own. She becomes the Curse incarnate. Her very presence warps reality. Her destructive potential gets scaled up to full-on planetary annihilation. And all of this is driven by a single, terrifying consciousness that exists across all three integrated forms at once.
So why does any of this matter? Why go this deep into the lore? Because the creation of the Iron Queen is actually a dark, really powerful allegory for a philosophical idea about what it truly takes to change.
The concept is called Untergang, which roughly translates to downgoing. It's this idea that to transcend, to become something greater, you first have to go through a necessary and often violent process of self-destruction. The old self has to be completely dismantled to make room for the new. And the spinning of the void? It's a terrifyingly literal expression of that exact idea.
And that leaves us with this final, kind of provocative question. The Iron Queen is an absolute monster, no doubt about it, a nightmare forged from pure malice. But the principle behind her creation, this idea that profound transformation requires profound sacrifice, well, that's universal. It forces us to ask ourselves, what must we destroy to create something new?